Chad and I joked about a segment called Chad named it Donuts with Devlin, and it was a weekly or bi-weekly, whatever, report, and it could be a review on anything. But we were sitting at Dunkin' Donuts
while you're doing it.
Huh?
Yeah,
that was the thing.
I want to be in on that.
The thing was, we were sitting. We just played at Molly McGuire's.
We were at Dunkin' Donuts.
We stopped at Dunkin' Donuts on the way home. Brian Vogel and his girlfriend were there, and we're just goofing around. And Patrick's with every donut he picks it up and he comments. Did a little review on each donut. Before he'd look at it, he'd say something, and he'd take a bite, and he'd say something else. And we were cracking up, and I said, "This could be a Access TV show." Before YouTube.
Yeah.
But then the punchline was sometimes sometimes maybe you don't even say anything. You're just eating donuts.
Yeah.
Anyway,
now are we rolling?
Are we rolling?
We've been rolling, yeah.
Oh, for God's
Jesus!
sake.
Take back everything I said about. Never mind.
Yeah.
That thing I said earlier.
Too late. SlapperCast episode number 73. And here, Eric C. Hughes, sorry.
Jesus.
Patrick Devlin and myself.
Patrick Jesus Devlin.
Collectively, we are known as Blaggards. I never say that in the show. Or we never say it.
That's nice.
Maybe we should say it.
I say it all the time.
Do you?
Yeah, you just cut it out. Look at you all back and all surprised. Oh, really? Delete.
Erase. Delete.
I'll just take that out. Yeah.
Yeah.
Good.
So as I'm sure all of you already know, the shutdown in Texas was reinstated this week. Bars were ordered to shut down at noon yesterday. This is Saturday when we're recording this. It'll be Tuesday when you hear it. So once again, things have kind of been turned on. It's
we just went in reverse for a little while.
Once again.
Yeah. Oh, you missed that last turn? Oh, let's just reverse. We'll just go back up. Yeah.
Should we just replay the SlapperCast from March 24th?
There we go. Can we do that?
Yeah.
Let's take the day off.
Right.
Good night. Thank you.
Yeah. Thanks for showing up.
Yeah, boy, what the difference a week can make, huh?
Mm-hmm.
Well, we saw the numbers rising. We saw the no, it's going to be okay. It's going to be good. But that's not. That looks like progress, but that's not progress. You want the stock market to do that, not the bad health reports. Yeah. So thanks, Chad. Just start off in the ditch. So we've now been canceled for. We were talking with the Iowa Irish Festival, and they have canceled their. The governor had pulled the plug on all. So they know they did the right thing, and they were upset. And First Friday in Bryan, Texas, they did the same thing. They rightfully pulled a plug on it. And I spoke yesterday with Brian and with the First Friday people, and they were extremely upset that it was gone. She was just a delight to talk to, but also I didn't know. Right? They told us that ours was one of the best attended shows that they'd ever had. She said yesterday. She said it was by far. So I was I was delighted, but also I told her, I said, the first chance in 2021, put us on it. We'll just make it. Yeah. We'll make it work. So we were talking before the cameras started rolling, before the tape started rolling, about when, of course, how long is a piece of string, right? I don't know. We were talking about what possible dates we could be coming back now, and it looks now like maybe September. So maybe late August, or I don't know. We're waiting to hear from Sturgis. Sturgis still has not canceled, and we spoke moments ago about amongst ourselves about if we can be safe and do it, if we can be safe and keep other people safe and do, we would do it. But at this point, at this stage, it looks like nothing is going to go forward until because I don't know if South Dakota wants Texans coming in there if our numbers are so high,
For sure.
So we don't know. And nobody knows. And the last thing you want to hear about, I'm sure, on any podcast is the fucking virus. So I vote that we move right along.
Let's move along.
And just,
Did we mention the Pirate Festival though? Did we say that?
Did not mention that.
Yeah.
No.
So that was going to be in July, and that's now been rescheduled until September 19th.
3 days after my birthday.
Yeah.
What?
Oh yeah, September 16th.
Well, you'll still be drunk, so that'll be really.
Yeah, well, it'll work out.
Yeah.
We'll just slide on in.
You'll just be right in the pillaging pinnacle of party.
Rhyming and stealing.
Yeah.
Like the Beastie Boys.
So happy birthday. I know I won't remember. So.
Well, I'll remind you. You'll be reminded.
You'll know.
You'll know. Plenty of times.
We also want to thank one of my dear family members. I got 2 pounds of our favorite coffee delivered yesterday. Kathy, thank you.
Ooh.
So
cool.
We are giddy with coffee.
We are imbibing.
Yes.
As we speak.
Uh-huh.
That means drinking.
Port Alley, I assume? Number 5?
Yep.
Very nice.
So it was just a delight. She warned me. She said, "There's something coming." Hate mail. And not at all.
Letter bomb.
Delicious. Yeah. Delicious Seattle's best coffee. And we've had a lot. And also we want to thank Greg Fugate as well. Greg, you know what you did.
Yeah.
We really are so lucky to have the people in our family and our friends and on our, immediate,
I'm not sure what he did.
Yeah.
But Greg, I want you to know that I'm not wearing a hat.
In your honor.
He gave us a
Thank you.
Oh. Yeah. Yeah. As soon as it arrived on the thing, I said, Greg, he's just the biggest heart.
I haven't got a notice about that. I wonder why. Huh,
I know.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Thanks, Greg. Appreciate it. Hat fund.
He messaged me too when it was announced that the Pirate Festival was being rescheduled. Without comment, he sent me the rescheduling. He's like, "Oh yeah, I know. You okay?" And he said, "I was just about to take time off for work for that." I'm like, oh, sorry.
Yeah.
So,
plan ahead.
Anyway.
Yeah. But we're just,
ahead.
We're so grateful to everybody for everything, because this has been a true. I just said we wouldn't talk about it anymore, but the communal for the most part, without the I'm not wearing a mask, but for the most part, everybody has really been pulling together well and helping each other, and it's beautiful to see. And, So.
Yeah,
we want to thank you all for sticking with us, and the other thing is too. So we're back in the studio, and when I say back in the studio, because every single window that we get, whether it's everything over the 3-4 minute window, we'll take it. Anything you got, we jump in the studio, and we've had. So I was reminded today that we said that we were going to be releasing some clips. Well, we didn't have any time last week to get in the studio, so. We didn't get in, so hopefully we're going to be back this week to do a couple of little pieces, and but I do want to put some clips on there from some of the stuff. There's been some really fun.
Yeah, I've got tons of footage too. I've been documenting pretty much every session. So
even when he hasn't had anything to do in the studio, he brings the camera in, he sets him up and does his thing, and so it's also a really good way to make Paul put his pants back on. And
okay.
Yeah.
So
he's wearing a mask though, but just not pants.
Yeah. So thanks a lot.
There's that
mask.
You gotta make sure of that. Although when I was in there with Alan, he was wearing pants. Oddly enough.
Really? Well, everybody has to wear pants around.
But no shirt. So hey, I mean, it's you take your wins when you can.
Yeah. When you got nipples the size of dinner plates, you got to wear it.
Gotta wear a shirt. Yeah.
So we let off last week's show. You mentioned that briefly, and we never got back to it. What you were in the studio with Alan recently.
Well, I was going to tell my Wildcatter story too.
And the Wildcatter.
Here we go.
Okay.
Where should we start with?
I'd say
segment A, stories of Eric.
Segment A. So Alan Hill, a friend of ours, Alan Hill. He's been on the show, I think, a while ago, right?
Yes, he has.
Buddy Alan Hill. I've been playing with him
all over the map
for 16 years now. Yikes. He put out an album last fall or last year, I think, and he's been kind of sporadically writing songs and wanted to record them. So he had a new song, although I'm sorry, I really can't tell you what it's called because I totally forgot. So what he does is he has this like little cheesy drum machine at home that actually doesn't sound like terrible drum wise, but some of the patterns that are programmed in it are kind of weird. And so he kind of came up with this thing and it kind of reminded me of and don't laugh, but it kind of reminded me of a combination of one of my favorite song of all time, the go ga beginning to Be My Baby by the Ronettes, and also the verse drums to Journey's Don't Stop Believing. That's kind of what my mind went to when I heard this drum machine play the opening lick to this thing. And the guitars come in, almost like claves in the background, that's what I hear in my head anyway. But anyway, the song is about, obviously, it doesn't mention what's going on, but it's about what's going on, and basically, you know how Alan is. Alan's such a people person, and he's not around people, so he's challenged by that, and so the song is about being away from people, basically, not being able to see people and not knowing to see them again. So we went in the studio, and it is kind of a fun drum song because it's like go 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 ga go 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 go, kind of one of those kind of things, and it's kind of straightens out during the chorus. But so Alan was in the guitar room, the glassed in room over there. I was in the main room, and then Paul was playing bass along with us in the control room. And a couple hours, and we got it down, and it actually sounds pretty cool. So he's gonna once he gets he's gonna put some more guitars on it. I'm gonna go in and do some percussion-y kind of stuff on a tambourine and maybe some other stuff, and then I think he's just gonna release it just like out into the ether, like one song at a time kind of thing.
Good,
so it's cool. It's
the way to do it.
Yeah,
nice.
And Paul, Paul's a really good bass player too. So and he was coming up with some cool stuff to play along with, and it was neat. It was fun.
Yeah, we
did it on a Saturday night. Got there about 9, finished up about midnight or so. It's fun.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Yeah, but that studio lends itself to we've been in we recorded in 4 Eyes Studio out in Beaumont, Texas, and just top of the line everything. Just studio was second to none, and but just very, very crisp and clear. You could bring your million recording artists and million seller recording artists in there, and they wouldn't bat an eye because it's good. Paul's studio is a little bit more laid back and a little bit kind of wipe your feet when you leave, but it's just it lends itself to a very, very creative, very relaxed, and we've seen it in the studio. Oh, let's try this. We've done it. I think it does about every session. Yeah. When you're listening to it, go, oh, let's try that. Let's put the cowbell and ring and do. Yeah, that's it. And now that's one of my favorite parts of the song. Same thing in Rain or Shine. It was like, let's do that, and then yeah. And that's my favorite part of the song. But no idea beforehand. It just lends itself to that. Yeah. To that kind of. Yeah. And I think we were a little bit more reserved when we did 4 Eyes, and a little bit more just uptight. And plus, it was a long drive, 100 and something miles to the studio, set up all day.
There's that, yeah.
Sound check all day, then record for a small window, then break down, and then drive all the way back, and just doesn't lend itself. Paul's is
hard.
I'll do credit though to Ryan Lane Johnson, who runs 4 Eyes. He's fantastic, extremely talented sound engineer and mixing engineer. So if you can make it to a studio, if you're in that area, or if you can make it work, it's more than worth your time.
The guy is he tours the world running sound for these major festivals. He's an absolute beast.
Mm-hmm. And we have a little while ago, we just asked just to make sure we had him. We asked him for the multi-tracks from that session. He's like, yeah, here you go. No questions asked. Because they were never actually final. He did a rough mix, which sounds good. The rough mixes sound really good. So he didn't skimp on the rough mixes, but we never actually completed those projects. But
we've been really lucky too. Even with Joe Omelchuk over at RBI Studios, wizard, absolute wizard, and so easy to work with. But all said and done, we're at BB Gun Studios now here in Houston, Midtown Houston, and could not be happier. And I think that I don't think that. I know the quality of these rough mixes are better than some of the finished products I heard. I'm not just saying that for Paul or for us, for the gear and all that stuff. That studio is pushing some serious gear through the just the Paul's ear and the mixture of the just easy place to record just makes it very, very conducive to a I think going to be a really fun project.
Yeah,
product
has been
too. So let's go Wildcatter.
The last thing about Paul, I think the nice thing about any recording studio is if the engineer kind of makes you feel at ease. Yeah, you'll have a good session. But I think it's because we've all known Paul for so long.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know how long I've known him. I met him years ago, but obviously I knew his brother David way before that. But and then the nice thing about Paul is that he's comfortable with you, and he's also comfortable about saying things that will help.
Yeah.
Yes. He's not critical, but he'll say, "Hey, you may want to try doing this on the second," because he's got like those kind of producer's ears a little bit. He's an engineer, but he also kind of knows what songs are supposed to sound like. And he might say, come down a little bit more during the verse, or why don't we try this the second time through, or make sure that,
and it's rare. That's
helpful.
Yeah, exactly. It's rare that it's not helpful. I mean, everything, chances are if somebody's coming in from a foreign place and they're giving you an idea, you really should try it. The only way, and I said this the other day to you, if we had gone in with these songs written 100%, which I didn't want to do, I wanted to have them rehearsed and ready to go, which we didn't do either. But we changed everything. Everything was changed going into the studio, personnel and song. But the other thing is too, you want that room to grow. You want that room to put in a new piece here. However, if you had gone into on just piggybacking on what you'd said about Paul, if you go in with your songs ready to record and all the pieces done, which is acceptable for some bands, if that's what they have everything ready to go and they want to save on time and money and all that stuff, and they go in, he'll back off and he will not say a word and he'll just do his. He knows with us too. He knows that we're bringing these songs in and they're jelly like. Mm-hmm. We need to form rock from this. Yeah, from this, and it's very helpful, and even if we don't use it, we've tried it.
Yeah,
because it's not just a really it's the rates are so reasonable, and it's so comfortable that we have no problem spending a little extra time.
Sure,
going and the amount of times let's just do it again because we've done 3 or 4 songs in a session.
Yeah,
let's just play that one again.
Yeah.
And just see what you get, and then you get so.
I love that we're so frequently. He's helped me articulate myself a few times, like when you and I were in there recently, and we're doing the 12-string acoustic over stuff. And I said, "What about this song?" Oh yeah. And there was some rhythm I was trying to. Yeah. In the verses, like maybe it should be tighter. And Paul said, "Oh yeah, I know." And he was able to tell you because I couldn't figure out how to articulate it in the moment, without going in there and showing it to you. But Paul knew exactly what.
It was funny what he's talking about is so one of the songs we were recording, I couldn't hear the 12-string that I was playing.
Yeah.
But
another problem with headphones. Huh? There's another problem with headphones that we were mentioning earlier, that it's easier when you can hear the room.
Well, I could only hear the backing tracks of what I was recording. Right. So I wasn't listening to the 12. I couldn't hear it. It wasn't up enough in the mix. But I'll just do it anyway. But that's what was happening. So the rhythm was wrong. It was off a little bit. It wasn't as tight as it should have been and then we switched it around. It was funny though. It's one of those places where I was like, no, I just want to hear what we're going to get with a different angle, come at it a little different. It was really, it's so enlightening. It's such a learning experience to have that kind of fall on you in the moment, and then you get to play with it. So we're excited.
I mean, good.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, and there is going to be a lot of that stuff on Patreon. I'm behind on my Patreon duties, but do join us there. There's going to be tons of stuff. Hopefully, it'll be a regular weekly thing at some point, because even after this album's out, we're still going to be doing stuff, for recording singles and so forth.
Yeah, there's a lot of singles ready to go as well.
Yeah,
so we're putting some good players on the side of these. So.
Nice.
Yes. So
Wildcatters.
You're gonna Wildcatters.
So I don't know how long it's been called the Wildcatters, but it was called something before then. And before then, I don't know. I guess it was a bar. Yeah. Yeah.
Mild splatters?
What?
Mild splatters?
Is that what's called?
No.
I don't fucking know. Anyway, so what we're talking about is the bar on off I-10 outside of Katy, actually on the west side of Katy. It's right before you kind of get into that curve where the mall is. The
Katy Mills.
Katy Mills is, yeah. And so I was playing with Jesse Dayton, and we got hired to come down there and play this thing. And I'm like, what is it? He's like, oh, it's like a biker party. Oh, great, because we did a lot of those in that band. A lot of biker parties, a lot of car shows. We did a lot of those. And so we're like, okay, cool. And so we drove down there, and I think it was me and Jesse and Rick Watson was playing bass with us at the time. And I don't know if Nathan Fleming, who was the steel player, came with us or not. He might have came separately. But so you get off the highway, you're on the access road, you turn right to go down this road, and then the bar's at the end of the road, basically. And there's like a camper dealership where there's some kind of like something RV thing around there, whatever. And so, we're driving down there, and like halfway down, there's a guy standing there with colors on. Colors are the uniforms at the biker gang. It was a biker gang, not a biker party, a biker gang party. I'm not going to mention which one because I don't want them to come to my house and threaten my life. Anyway, and he stops us, and so we stop, and he doesn't say, "Hey guys, how's it going?" He's like, "What do you want?" I'm like, "Okay, we're the band. We're the Jesse Dayton band. We're playing at 7, and we're just kind of here to load in." He's like, "Pull over right here and get out of the van." Okay. So we pull over and get out of the van, and he frisks us. He's like, "Put your arms out." "Why?" "I'm going to check you for weapons." "Oh, okay." Pat down. "Go to that table over there." So we walk over to this table over there. IDs. "What?" "I want to see your licenses." All right. So we take out our IDs. They write down our name, our driver's license number, and they give us these lanyards, right? And it says, it's got a big, I think it had a big V on it, or it said visitor or something like that. And it said, "You display this. You don't take it off. Everywhere you go, it has to be visible. You can't tuck it in your shirt. You can't put it in your pocket. You have to wear it all the time. You understand?" "Yeah." I go, "Can we move the van closer to the stage to load in?" "Yeah, there's a parking spot over there for you guys." Well, that's the nicest thing anybody said all day. Get in the van. I think Jesse went to go I think he had a couple of friends that were there. And so he went, "I'm going to go say hi to so-and-so. You guys bring the van around." Fine. Me and Rick get in the van. We get to where the parking spot is. And it's literally about as wide as your van, meaning that on each side of it are motorcycles. And so our job is to back the car into this parking spot. And when you get out there, that's a parking lot, but it was full of bikes.
Yeah.
And then it's like this little side road that kind of went around, and that was full of the road was just like a two tire lane kind of dirt road kind of thing. And then it curved, and so to back into the spot, you had to be really super careful. So Rick and I went to decide who was going to back the van up, and whoever else wasn't going to do it was going to stand in the back and guide them.
And get ready to run.
Get ready to run. So luckily, it was just like, hey, a little bit more.
Yeah.
And so we set up and we played, and they really could have cared less. No one was paying attention at all. It didn't really matter. It was just entertainment. And I'm trying to think who was playing after. I know that Wayne the Train Hancock was playing. So it was like a Friday, Saturday.
Yeah.
Like come on Friday, camp out, you leave on Sunday kind of a thing.
Yeah.
And we did hear a story shortly thereafter that whether it was Wayne played Friday or Saturday. So we played the gig, and as soon as we were done, me and Rick packed up all of our shit, and Jesse said, "I'm going to stay." Great. We fucking hauled ass out of there because it was creepy. It was like not feared for your life, but you knew that if something went wrong, it was going to be bad for whoever it was, whoever got involved. So we have someone at the door. I think I locked the door. Sorry. Anyway.
Pause it.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Hang on. To be continued.
No, I'll just let it run because I have to stop all 3 of them. Yeah. I'll edit out later.
Puppy dog. And we're back. So after the gig, Jesse wanted to stay because he had a buddy there, and they were going to hang out and drink, and they were going to stay in Houston, and then they were going to get home. I think the guy rode his motorcycle, and either Jesse was going to ride home. I don't anyway, he had it all figured out. So me and Rick, packed up as quick as we could. Bye. And left because it was just weird. So the epilogue of that story was it was fucking scary playing the show and just like trying to play the show and making sure the badge was. And I think at one point, either Jesse or his friend Jeff, who was his friend was kind of a clown, thought he was a biker guy, but wore like the tight leathers and wore a Kawasaki or whatever. Thing. Apparently, he was a visitor, but he was there, and his badge was tucked in his jacket. And one of the guys said, "Hey, where's your badge?" And he's like, "It's right here." He's like, "Well, let me see it." He's like, "I don't got to show you." And then it became kind of an issue with like a little pushing, a little shoving, like, "What the fuck is wrong with you?" kind of a thing. Blah, blah, blah. But we also heard that, I think it was Wayne the Train Hancock, whether it was Friday night or after us, we heard that there's somebody in his band got into some fisticuffs with one of the biker guys because of maybe the same thing, not showing their badges. But I don't like those kind of gigs because that's just like, it takes all the fun out of playing. It's just like, you're worried about, following all these rules just to save, so someone doesn't want to beat you up. And it doesn't make the gig any fun. No.
And some people, as we've seen, just, want to, they're only there for the fight. They're not there for the fun. They're there for
their fun.
To make
they're there for make their own. It's not just hang out, listen to music, and drink and smoke and whatever. It's hang out, listen to music, drink, smoke, and fuck somebody. So anyway, that's the Wildcatter story. But it was just weird that it was just like if any cars drove like us, like driving in, they like stopped you like halfway. Bikes, oh come on in, no problem. But cars, what do you want? Just go to work.
Wow.
So,
and again, was when that place was a different establishment.
It's not Wildcatters. Sorry,
just
Wildcatters.
So people know.
I'm not giving you no. I'm not dissing Wildcatters. I'm sure is a fine establishment. It's obviously changed because I've seen pictures of it online and it's completely different. It's the same spot, but it looks completely different than this. This place is more like, it almost looked more like a clubhouse with a bar. And but I guess it was a venue. But I know that Wildcatters has been actually having, when we had shows, actually had a couple like fairly well-known kind of C-level bands showing up there and like doing like kind of big shows. Like I think Jackal was playing there. Yeah. Chainsaw. I told you to look that guy up. The guy with the chainsaw.
Jackal
plays with a chainsaw on stage.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I vaguely remember that.
Yeah. Jackal. They were sort of like
it was the other lumberjack song.
They got kind of lumped into the hair metal novelty kind of category, kind of towards the end of the hair metal thing, I think.
Yeah, well, the guy had to take a chainsaw out to be heard.
Relevant. Yeah. Cut up like a wooden stool on stage or some fucking thing. That's stupid.
Wow, he's the Gallagher. He's the Gallagher of rock.
The Gallagher of hair metal.
That might be the title.
God, he's coming back. So but
it is watermelon.
So that's that. But my friend Bob Robert Earl Mills from up north had another question for us.
Robert.
Hello, Robert. Hello, Bob. Thanks for listening.
I was going to ask if this was another Bob question.
So it's that's the one I sent you guys yesterday. It's sort of a playoff of, we talked about a couple weeks ago about like artists who we thought should have been bigger. Because of their career or whatever. So his question, I guess he's just read I think he just read the Rod Stewart 6 ounces of biography and the Elton John biography, and he said in both biographies they mentioned Leon Russell as an inspiration, or someone that they looked up to be kind of like him. And Leon, of course, wrote a bunch of great songs, but maybe he's not as well known to a lot of people because either his career just didn't get as big as it could have been, or his songs that have been covered have been covered by more popular artists, and their versions are more popular than him. So the question is, who do we think are some musicians? Like musicians know who these guys are, but maybe the overall general public doesn't know who they are. And these musicians would be someone that is obviously inspirational to other musicians, and also very influential as well. Any genre, any category.
Who would like to start?
Who would like to start?
I have literally the first guy who came to mind.
David Byrne.
No. He just does not get enough credit. From me, no. Arthur Crudup. Do you know, either of you guys know?
I know that name. Why do I know that name?
I'm just asking to prove a point.
Why do I know that name?
Arthur Crudup wrote "That's All Right, Mama."
So we're going
Elvis's breakthrough hit.
Okay.
Yeah.
What else did he write?
That was it.
That's it.
He also wrote "My Baby Left Me," and there's another third song of his that Elvis did too. I can't remember the name of. But my point is that a lot of people don't know who he is, and like a lot of those early blues guys, he just got screwed over by bad deals and stuff. From that song alone, "That's Right, Mama," he should have been a millionaire after Elvis covered it. And because he didn't own the rights to the publishing, he never got a cent. You know, he had late in his life, he got a couple of like maybe $10,000 or some pittance of a settlement. You know, but anyway, he's just one of those guys that I just not enough people know about him, and a lot of people from that era. There was a lot going on that just isn't talked about when you talk about the beginning of rock and roll. You know, people usually start with Elvis and Chuck Berry and Little Richard, and there's a whole lot that was going on before that.
Of course.
The other person that came to mind was somebody I never knew about until she just popped up on YouTube one day. Was Sister Rosetta Tharpe. Do you know her?
Yeah.
Yeah. Have you heard of her?
No.
Guitar player?
She was primarily sort of a gospel singer, performer, but the reason why she's really noteworthy is that she was a really good guitar player, not just any guitar, electric guitar. And she played blues and gospel, but when she played guitar, it was rock. You know, you just watch her. She was just the riffs. She played with distortion, you know, before a lot of other people did. I don't know if she was the first, but she was among the first to use distortion, you know, musically on electric guitar. And she was an electrifying performer. Mm-hmm. Incredible voice. I mean, that alone would have been enough to solidify her place in history. But she was a really, really animated performer. But her guitar playing was awesome. Yeah, she was really good. Yeah. I think she was better than Chuck Berry on her chops, you know. So you'd have to see her to get it. But a lot of she doesn't get enough credit. But the people who came, the people that we always think of as starting rock and roll, whom I already mentioned, Presley, Little Richard, Chuck Berry, all those guys, even Johnny Cash, they all knew who she was. Mm-hmm. And Little Richard especially actually encountered her when he was young, and she actually had him come up and sing with her one time, and that was one of his first tastes of performing outside the church and actually getting paid to perform and so forth. That was kind of a watershed moment for him.
Nice,
thanks to her. But she's just never mentioned. And a lot of things that happened, really crucial moments in rock history, just wouldn't have happened if it wasn't.
Yeah, I think any guitar player from the middle late 50s cites her as an influence.
Yeah,
every guitar player.
Yeah,
every electric guitar player, whether it's Carl Perkins or even the early George Harrisons and the John Lennons and the Paul McCartneys, you know, look to her as well. I mean, everybody.
Yeah,
those guys were playing guitars in the 50s. So yeah.
So and she did pretty well. I mean, she definitely didn't have as much bad luck as somebody like Arthur Crudup did. But she did have to put up with, you know, oh, you play guitar like a man, you know, and stuff like that.
Well, yeah. Which
is one of the reasons why most people don't even know who she is. You know, it's just damn shame.
People would say that to me.
You play like a man. Yeah. But anyway, she's fantastic. I mean, I was just, when I first saw her, I was like, how have I never heard of her before? She's amazing. So yeah, that is, everybody needs to check her out. If you've never heard of her, your mind is going to be blown. So
anybody from the modern era? Last 30 years, maybe 40 years.
Who isn't getting enough credit?
You can think of?
Last 30 years. Yeah. Okay. Well, maybe not 30 years.
Well, it doesn't matter. I mean,
but and this guy probably he's more of a cult figure. There's a guy named Scott Walker who was, I only know about him because he was a major influence of David Bowie's. And the reason I found out about him was he was a guy who brought Jacques Brel's, those English translations of Jacques Brel, a French songwriter. There were some translations that were being done for a stage play in the late 60s that he found out about through Andrew Loog Oldham, who worked with Rolling Stones. he was friends with Andrew, I guess. And he found out about that. And Andrew played him the mixes of that before this show was going live, and Scott Walker was just blown. His mind was blown by, you got to let me record these songs. But anyway, so I think that was on his first record too, his very first solo record. He was in a band called the Walker Brothers before that. Walker, again, not his real name, sort of like the Ramones, I guess. But that album, clearly, you go and listen to it, it's really easy to hear what a huge impact that had on Bowie at the time. Because Bowie, at that point in his career, he was just trying to figure out what he was going to do. He was just trying everything.
How much he was going to do.
Yeah. But Scott Walker had this really kind of low baritone voice. And you think about Bowie had a lot of different characters that he would do, but there's the low kind of baritone crooner that he had. A little bit of that, I think, came from Bing Crosby and singers like that, but quite a bit of it came from Scott Walker, I think.
Interesting.
And but the reason why I hesitated to say him is because you think it didn't get enough recognition. I think Scott got as much recognition as he really wanted. Most people will listen to his stuff, and it might be a little too challenging for him, a little difficult listening, because he was kind of one of those more edgy artists who was. But he continued to influence Bowie too, because in the 70s he did a lot of really strange experimental stuff that clearly had influence in Bowie, because Bowie went off in a strange experimental direction in the late 70s too, after Scott did.
Sure.
So anyway, but yeah, he's one of those kind of people that most people don't know about, but there's maybe a reason for that, because he was just kind of strange. So
nice.
Yeah. So what you got?
Yeah, I think everybody that got their Jews got it. The hell of it.
That's it.
Yeah,
that's it. That's Arthur Crudup, Sister Marizetta, and Scott Walker.
I don't even think they deserved it. No. Yeah. So I think of people like Jim Dandy. That of course that's. I go back to I just go looking at the performance side of it. I just think that because David Lee Roth spawned so much, of the stuff that I listen to, and his was a direct take from the Jim Dandy performers thing. And as far as the tracing the music back to, I just think that lyrically, like, people like Tom Waits and Dylan were stolen from and borrowed from and mirrored, and it's just those artists and stuff that took theirs. You can find it. You can find you can trace it back to them, but. When I think of Little Richard and how little he was mentioned when Elvis's career was just everything was just worldwide and inescapable. I think that was the biggest cloud over rock and roll, is that it was all this guy, and this guy was just able to take it up and run with it. Hey,
are we all drinking out of Elvis mugs?
Yes, we are.
Yeah.
Where's our Little Richard mugs? Come on.
I know.
We need to get some. I know. Look at that.
Well, they're tiny. They're only this big, and they
very dainty.
Yeah. But they so I'm just going straight to the performance side of it. I don't think people like I just think that rock and roll is just this massive pile that people just steal from, So,
well, there's a famous quote that Steve Jobs, I think it was Steve Jobs who said it, that said, "Good artists, what's something about great artists steal." I can't remember. It's good artists something, and
you nailed it.
Yeah,
you nailed it. Cut print.
Wow.
Yeah. Well, who you got?
Well, there's a lot, and there's one band I mentioned before in the show called NRBQ, and New Rhythm and Blues Quartet. NRBQ, they've been around for 1,000 years, but I just from knowing that band, that some friends of mine up north, my buddy Steve McBrien, a huge fan of NRBQ. Very quirky, very weird. It's just guitar, bass, drums, and keyboard. A couple singers. Two of the drummer and the bass player were brothers, so the drummer's passed on since then. But to hear the amount of musicians that cite them as influences is shocking. Because they're not that well. They're not well known at all. I mean, they're just not.
I don't know any of their stuff. I've heard of them many times.
You've heard the name, yeah.
Yeah.
Alan and those the Banana Blender guys are big fans of theirs. You know, because it's got a unique feel to it. And some of the songs are quirky and they're funny and they're just kind of strange, you know. But as far as musicians, you know, they're fantastic musicians, and they've influenced everybody from, you know, Bonnie Raitt to I mean,
Tool.
Anybody.
I mean, everybody all the way through.
Everybody, you know, through anybody. So they're one to check out. And again, I mean, I don't even know if they still even exist anymore, because half the band was dead and they were broken up, and so and so's got cancer now or whatever. So they were. Of course, I always go back to Todd because, you know, Todd.
That's a good one. Yeah.
Todd, his influence was so huge in the early 70s, and then once he pulled, you know, it's like him and Bowie and a couple other just handful of people that are like, I want to make music for me. I'm not making it for anybody else but me. And I think Bowie was kind of that same way too, because as many directions as he went, I want to do this now. I want to do this now. I want to do this now. It wasn't about pleasing a fan base or even pleasing a record company. It was like, I'm feeling like this now. And Todd was, I mean, if you look at the records he put out, I mean, all the way, I mean, every record he's put out is just like, okay, that one's cool.
Yeah.
This one, kind of challenging.
Yeah.
You know, I'm not sure about that. And he even admits it. He even says, he's like, Todd has said in interviews, he said something like, I'll put out a record because I want to do this. He's like, I know my hardcore fans will stay with me. He's like, and then I'll put out another record that they might like a little bit more.
Yeah.
You know,
Bowie said basically the same thing.
It's the same thing, right? Yeah. I mean, and it's not that, you know, if you, and the funny thing is, and this is going to sound really weird, but the biggest, Todd's biggest influence has been on Daryl Hall. Because if you listen to Daryl Hall in the 70s, you can tell that he's ripping off a lot of Todd's vocal styles, and a lot of his pop sensibilities. You know, and it's true because they both came from the same area up in Pennsylvania.
Well, that doesn't sound silly at all. That actually makes a lot of sense.
You know,
because we see it firsthand here. When I first came to town, there was a band called Texas Heat something, but they were a band that we used to hire at some of the places I worked, and I saw their influences. Just kind of, and I don't know where that was one of the first bands I saw, but then I also saw the local bands kind of doing the same thing because those guys were drawing a crowd. So they did the same thing. And so you could see that it's like a Springsteen and a Meatloaf song. So if you're ever unfortunate enough to be in the middle of a Meatloaf song, you'll hear.
Produced by Todd Rundgren.
Yeah.
At least the first record.
But you'll hear those similarities and be like, whoa, how did that?
Yeah.
Those storyteller piano based songs with these incredible grooves back then.
Yeah.
You know,
yeah,
it's so easy to pinpoint where that came from, and so then back to the Houston music scene back in the early '90s when I came in town and I saw those bands, great performers, decent songwriters. The CDs. This was the horrible thing about music back then, where if you bought their cassette or their CD at their show, you bring it home, was nothing like the show you just saw.
Right.
So very, very watered down, kind of an 80s mix. Although this is the 90s, they're still using that 80s technique for their original stuff. And you get home and it's this watery, terrible drum sound. It's all just candy coated.
Seemed like a good idea at the time.
Yeah. And so you take the, coaster. No. You got to get it out of your sight. You don't want to be caught with that stuff. You don't want to be, your apartment raided and have that found in your possession. So yeah, that was the extent of my. Where did that come from? I didn't.
So to piggyback. There's that word again on that. I know that the three of us have different influences as far as, let's just say, a particular instrument.
Yes.
Obviously, you play guitar and bass, so you have kind of maybe a double thing. But I mean, are there any? We all have obvious influences. Maybe I don't know. Guitar player.
Shirley Bassey.
Huh?
No.
What?
Guitar player?
Yngwie. I know you like the Yngwie J Mom stream.
Yngwie?
You say it right.
Yeah. Unique J Mom stream.
Yeah.
No, but you know what I mean? Like, there's a few, like maybe like a handful of guitar players. You're like, oh, this guy, this girl, whatever. Drums the same way. But is there anyone that is kind of like, again, someone that no one probably knows that maybe we think that should be a little bit more well-known? That's one of your personal influences. Well,
I've mentioned him on the show before, but as a bass player, Klaus voormann, who was a...
Klaus voormann plays bass?
Yeah.
I guess he does, right?
Yeah. He was. That's one of the things about him that I just love is that he's such a versatile artist. But yeah, when he met the Beatles sorry, John, in Hamburg, I think he already played guitar, but it really wasn't his main thing. He was a visual artist. As you know, he did the cover to Revolver, and anyway. But some point, and I don't know what the whole story is, but he went on to learn how to play bass, and he joined Manfred Mann. He was with them for several years. And then in the 70s, he became a session player. He played on pretty much every Beatles solo record. He played on All Things Must Pass, George Harrison. He played on Imagine, John Lennon. He played on Plastic Ono Band, and so bunch of Georgia stuff. Almost every, well, not everyone, but most of Georgia stuff throughout the 70s. And he played with Carly Simon. He played with Harry Nilsson. But his style of bass was very distinctive, very understated, but really tasteful and always in the pocket and kind of playful at the same time. And so he definitely had an influence on my playing big time. But a lot of people, like you said, a lot of people don't even know that he played bass.
I forgot that.
He hasn't done it. He kind of packed it in after the 70s. He's just been doing art, doing painting and stuff since then. But yeah, that's the main.
Is it true that he had Stuart Sutcliffe killed?
No. Klaus? No.
I want to start a new rumor.
Well, the ugly rumor that was started was that with Stu is that because he died from a head injury that he sustained during a fight after a Beatles gig, and there was some
with Klaus von.
Some ugly with Klaus wasn't even there.
Klaus von Bülow Voormann.
some ugly people. And I think it's in what's his name, Albert Goldman,
the
guy who wrote that really nasty
shitty book.
John Lennon. Yeah. There's some people have accused that John Lennon kicked him in the head, which there's no proof.
During anal sex.
Anyway, I don't know what the hell happened with that story there. Stu Sutcliffe, by the way, in case you don't know,
they know who he is.
Yeah, no, they don't. The Beatles' original bass player.
Bass player.
Yeah, he wasn't much of a
musician. He might have owned a bass.
Again, he was a visual artist, too.
He's seen a bass in the Sears catalog.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Stu was somebody, had he survived, he probably would have been doing a lot of the Beatles album covers.
Yeah.
Yeah. Instead of Klaus, probably. So who knows?
Well, there you go. We'll never know.
Okay.
Anyway.
So
about me.
What about you for that question? Guitarist or singers?
Or any instrument, really.
That people don't know about. We talked about Rory before, and that's definitely true in the States. A lot of people don't know who Rory is, unless you're a blues guitar player.
Yeah, I mean, well, a lot more people. That was the part that surprised me. More people know Rory Gallagher than I thought would know Rory Gallagher. And as far as he's huge among guitar players, but I think Gary Moore would probably be one of my. I'll tell you this: Gary Moore would be easily one of my first guitar players where I saw the versatility of rock, blues, kind of jazz sometimes, and definitely had always carried that Irish tone throughout. I just borrowed a baritone guitar from our friend Rick Gillis, and for one of the recordings that we're going to do hopefully this week, and the when Rick had heard some of the original stuff that we were working on, we were listening to it, and he said that the Irish is throughout because a lot of stuff didn't have fiddle on it yet, and he said it's just got Irish throughout, which I didn't know. I guess that's how. So I think Gary Moore would probably be one of those people that definitely scarred me as far as because I saw him play a bunch of times in Dublin, and just the dexterity of the guy's finger. So in an interview, he said that his first guitar, the strings were way off the fretboard, and they were very heavy strings. So he learned at a young age to really strengthen his hand when he was playing. And you watch the dexterity and the speed that this guy plays with, and the precision. It's not. I'm sloppy. I'm purposefully sloppy when I play. He is just blisteringly fast, ungodly quick, but the dexterity, the amount of real estate that he covers it's just, and again, a lot of the times you don't want that million note thing, but when you hear it played with such precision and such poetry and such, it's wonderful to watch and listen to, and it's a guy's full of music, and it's full of music, and so I guess Gary Moore would probably be one of my.
And he was in UFO too, right? Was he in UFO?
Don't think so. He played with a bunch of. He played with.
Definitely a journeyman in between. His own stuff and the Thin Lizzy stuff. Yeah. And I mean, he's done a lot.
Yeah. His first band is Skid Row in a band called Skid Row, not the shit that we're used to over here, but band out of Dublin with so we knew of his early days. He was always brilliant, always very, very fast, but articulate, and got the point. And Peter Green was his hero, and of course Roy Gallagher as well. So there was a lot of cross pollination.
Peter Green from Fleetwood Mac?
Yeah. He gave him the Les Paul, I think, that he played. Still Got the Blues on, or something like that. There was a.
Yeah, that's another thing that most people probably don't know is that before, most people know Fleetwood Mac because of Rumors and everything that happened after that.
There's a whole couple incarnations of that
band.
They
were a completely different band before that. Yeah. And Peter Green was genius, and he just kind of had a mental breakdown or something, I think, right?
Well, if you work with Mick Fleetwood, you're going to have a mental breakdown.
Oh, is he an asshole?
No, I'm just saying that boy's crazy.
That band has a lot of problems. It seems like they're just always fighting.
They're still going. Who's playing with them now?
Well, this was, I almost was going to bring this up in a previous show. Neil Finn from Crowded House was recruited really quickly because they had a world tour put together, and right in the late stages of that planning for that tour, they fired Lindsey Buckingham.
It's so weird.
And then brought in Neil to take his place. And this is one of those things that seems so strange to me, because Neil is one of those cult artists now. I mean, Crowded House was pretty big in the day, but he's kind of had a, I'm going to do what I want to do kind of thing since then. It hasn't really been in the charts or anything.
What's his brother's name?
Tim Finn.
Tim Finn, that's right.
Yeah, the Finn brothers together. Right. They're great together too.
Timothy Finnegan is his full name.
To me, I when I heard that, I likened it to, like, what if John Lennon joined Three Dog Night or something? It just doesn't make any sense to me. How those two things go together. I haven't even heard any of it, but they're apparently they were playing some Crowded House and Split Enz songs. Split Enz was the band that both the Finn brothers were in earlier. So I don't know. It's kind of strange.
Wacky.
You can't really replace Lindsey. I don't understand why. And I'm not a huge Fleetwood Mac. That's another band that was heavily overplayed when we were growing up.
Oh yeah,
but they're great songs. And he's a great guitar player and all that stuff. But I don't know.
No chicks in the band. That's why. That's what they'll fuck everything up. No offense, ladies.
I really didn't intend to talk about Fleetwood Mac.
Yeah,
it's okay. but it's true. I mean, a lot of people don't know that. Peter Green was sort of.
Did you Mark Campbell play for
who?
Campbell from Tom Petty? Didn't he play with Fleetwood Mac for a bit?
That's right. That's the part I was forgetting. They replaced Lindsey with two people. With Neil Finn. I was going to say Neil Finn couldn't. Yeah. No. Yeah. He's not a lead player.
Guitar player.
Yeah. Yeah. That's true. Yeah. It's doubly strange.
So are they using Neil as like harmony vocal and rhythm guitar,
lead vocal,
and then what's his name is playing other guitar?
Lead guitar.
Well, Neil's more of a rhythm player. He can play lead, but he's.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
I mean, Neil's more rhythm and vocals probably.
Yeah.
Than anything.
Yeah. I'd prefer to hear Rick Allen play lead guitar than.
Hell yeah. Clang, clang, clang. Wait. Clang, clang, clang.
To hell with us all. So who's yours?
I've heard Rick Allen's very nice. he's a very nice man. So I can't speak for the rest of Def Leppard, but I've heard he's very nice.
Oh, I was about to ask you who Rick Allen was.
He's a
That's all right. Yeah. Enough said. Continue.
I was gonna say. So what's the question? Unsung drum heroes? Man, all my guys that I like are all off the beaten path. People say, who's your favorite drummer? Richie Hayward. Who's that? Little Feat. Who's that? You know, that kind of stuff, you know. Levon Helm. I mean, if you're a drummer, you know who Levon Helm is.
Sure. Yeah.
From the band, you know. We know who he is. A lot of guys know who he is. Ringo, obviously. Hal Blaine, you know, stuff like that. Vinny, more than Carmine, of course. You know, Carmine, you know.
Anybody says Carmine's not any good, they're talking through their ass.
No, he's great.
Yes, I know, but he doesn't have to be your favorite. I need him to be in that. And I need Brian Downey. Sorry.
Yeah, it's fine. Is it your list or my list?
Your list.
Okay, fine. Yeah. But no, I mean, there's a bunch of guys that, I mean, I look at. You look at to influence, but you may not ever play like them, you know, like.
Absolutely.
I mean, well, Gene Krupa obviously is famous, so that doesn't really count. I mean, he's like one of my.
But I hear Stewart in your playing. I hear.
I'm not even a huge.
But
when I say fan, I don't mean like I don't like him. I love Stuart Copeland. I love his playing, but I don't seek out. The Police to listen to.
And that's good because you don't want a. What was their name? Oh, name's escaping me now.
Sting.
You don't want a Sublime drummer in a. You know what I mean? You know in a straight ahead rock and roll band. You want to.
Well, no. Yeah.
You want a guy with soul. You want a guy with, you know.
Well, I mean, and I think the thing about, I mean, I guess it's about any instrument too, but no matter what style you play, you want to be kind of a little versatile. So maybe a little Stewart here for that one thing, and maybe a little bit of Levon for this thing, and maybe a little bit of Vinny Appice for this thing, and maybe a little bit of Brian Downey for that thing, and a little Peter Criss for what?
Oh,
what?
No.
Who?
You just took
Eric Carr, though. Eric Carr, when Eric Carr played for Kiss, that kid was something special. He was really fucking good.
Yeah. I've seen some drum solos separated from...
But just the way his drums sounded, I mean, he basically turned that band back into a rock band. Because they were off in La La Land for so long, and when he came into play, no, I play rock drums. See all the drums I have that I can actually play, know how to play? I even have double kick drums.
Yeah.
Yeah, he brought the rock back to that band, whatever that was, so... And then Eric Singer is playing for him now, and he's fine, but that band just needs to go away. Needs to retire. Talking about the Kiss.
Yeah, like 30 years ago.
Yeah.
So, yes, and in your, and it's crazy the amount of time that we've spent playing together and the amount of hours that you spent playing music, period. It's just, you lose track of where your influence came from. I don't think it ever leaves you, but I was watching some Mark Knopfler from 2015, 2013, you know, different tours that the YouTube has these 2-hour long shows. And I like to have the music in the background, and I like to have the different albums, because it's a featuring the different records from that year. And not only is the sound tremendous, but it's the, you when you go back through those times, you know, and from Golden Heart or from whatever record it was, or Sailing to Philadelphia, whatever that moment was, you just, especially in my case too, I remember how many ideas were lifted out of just listening to that. Now, when I'm playing, you don't hear it because it's just blurry and messy and loud and thing. But there's so many times where it kind of, oh yeah, I remember how that was born, you know, and those songs were playing in the car as we drove across country, you know, for the 30th time that year. And those influences never leave. They become part of your DNA.
Yeah. I think that's a big part of how we learn too, is when we're starting out and how we learn, we fucking just steal shit right off the record. Yeah. We have to.
Yeah.
Because that's how you build a vocabulary. And then you take that thing you stole and then you change it. You move it a note. You change the rhythm. You play with it. You work with it till it becomes something different. And I mean, every new thing that I learned from a record when I was a kid, like I was so excited because I could learn, I learned how to play that drum fill, or I learned how to play that drum beat. And then you just play it over and over again, and then you morph it, and then it becomes something else.
Yeah.
That becomes your own.
Yeah.
You know, like, this is the so-and-so's famous drum break. That's Ringo's famous drum break from the end. But if you just push it around a little bit and change the voicings on the drums, then it becomes a whole new inspired by kind of thing.
Yeah.
So and that's so important as a young player.
Yeah.
Just starting out is stealing shit.
Yeah.
And then make it your own.
But the quote I was trying to remember earlier is actually attributed to Pablo Picasso. Steve Jobs said it later. It was good artists borrow, great artists steal. It's a little bit of tongue in cheek, but it's kind of what you're saying.
Yeah.
Yeah. But, and also I do want to mention Horselips. When you listen to Thin Lizzy and when you listen to the progression of what became Irish rock across the globe, start with Horselips and you just kind of figure out where because they were into all that glam rock stuff too. It was funny to watch because they made Gary Glitter look like an accountant. You know, they had so much stage presence and their music was so steeped in Irish folklore and they really did they lit a fire. And then they're still doing stuff. They're still another band that just needs mentioning in that vein is or not in that vein, but from Ireland is Stiff Little Fingers.
Yes,
where so many bands were directly the biggest band to date has been Green Day, lifting their stuff, and I think Green Day is doing. I think they do great work, whether you like them or not. I think they're doing exactly what they were supposed to do.
I think I've actually heard that. They may have mentioned Stiff Little Fingers
they should
in one of their interviews. I mean, I don't know, but see, it's how it works.
Yeah. Also, that made me think also too of the Undertones. Nobody here knows who they are, but they had some great. As far as punk rock goes, they had some really great stuff.
Fergal Sharkey,
Fergal Sharkey is really active on, and I think he's active in Irish politics. I follow him on Twitter. He's pretty active on there. Yeah, I
didn't know.
I don't think he's doing music anymore, but he's out there.
Yeah.
He's a public figure. I know that much.
Yeah. Well worth the research. Well worth
So there you go. So all of our fans listening, you now have a whole list of people to go dig up.
Yeah.
I have one more.
Oh, good.
Just thought of.
David Byrne.
No. Fishbone.
Fishbone?
Fishbone. Do you know them?
Of course I know them.
Yeah. Do you know
Okay, so no, I'm going to say to what? For what? As an influence that people, band that people don't know?
Because they came up around the same time that Living Colour did. And Living Colour, of course, hit it really
those
big.
are two completely different genres, though.
Yeah, I know. Well, yeah, Fishbone was, but they both had this kind of funk rock thing that they were doing. Fishbone, of course, went everywhere. They did a lot of ska and some heavy metal stuff, hardcore stuff. Yeah. Right. But to me, when I discovered Living Colour, like most of us did from watching MTV, because they were everywhere at the time when that record came out. Was that Cult of Personality, the big hit they had. And then a friend of mine, because he knew I liked Living Colour, played me Truth and Soul, which is I think maybe their first record. That's the only record of theirs I have, which is amazing. And they never really had a big hit, like Living Colour and other bands from that time.
Yeah, they were big.
But they had a big influence on bands like Red Hot Chili Peppers and all these people who went on.
Yeah.
Hey, don't mention that name.
I know. But I'm saying that's what I mean. They don't really get enough credit. They're still around too.
Big in the underground scene, big in the skate scene. All the skaters do, and that's how I found them.
Yeah,
was through skateboarding when I was a kid. That's how I found Fishbone when I was younger. So, yeah. So not a mainstream influence, but definitely influential in many other, and maybe a lot of folks don't. They may know Living Colour, like you say, more, but two different genres. Living Colour, man, I love that Vernon Reid. He's something else.
Yeah.
Ooh, Lord. That guitar solo on Cult of Personality, God, just tears your fucking head off.
Yeah,
and great tone.
Oh my God, what a great tone! And you see, Muzz's pedal board. Have you ever seen that thing?
I've never seen his
bass
pedal
player's
board. No,
he played at Jazz Fest a couple of years ago, and he was playing in some kind of super group kind of thing. Muzz, the bass player from Living Colour, and I remember I think I took a picture of his board, and it's about as big as his couch.
Have you seen Kevin Shields pedal board from My Bloody Valentine?
I can only imagine.
Okay. Well, it's the floor space in this room won't hold it.
He's got a pole to poke on
it comes out in a pallet. It comes out on a.
That's.
I know. But you're able to lean into the sound and have it carry you.
I guess
at the end of the show.
Yeah. Don't they have like processors and shit for that now? You just like a rack thing.
They do.
Push a button.
But that's not what. That's
toggle.
not what it.
Isn't that the Edge's whole thing? Like I got all this shit to go. So stupid. Fuck that guy.
Yeah.
Yeah. Are we done? We got more?
Anyway, I just want to stress too, Truth and Soul by Fishbone. You got to listen to that record. I was thinking about it now.
Link to it, Chad. Link to it.
I will.
There it is.
If I have time. I've been really bad with the show notes lately. I was talking about how diverse their style was. That record is a really good example of that because it just from one song to the next, it keeps changing. You know, there is a lot of ska on that record, but it's not. It ain't the kind of ska that you would expect if you're just familiar with bands like I don't know, like.
Say it. Don't say it.
What? Specials?
No, that's fine. That's good.
Yeah.
What do you think I was going to say? Madness?
Who?
Madness.
No, they're fine.
Black Madness.
The other band.
But
Specials.
From Bosstown.
Fishbone, but Fishbone took ska and kind of they did different things with it that most other ska bands didn't do. And but they don't just play ska; they play other stuff too. That's I think that maybe one of the reasons maybe why they had a hard time being marketed. Except for the fact that they were all black.
Well, no, I just think that they were just
playing rock music. Yeah,
I think they found their audience. They didn't have to go mainstream. You don't want them. You don't want to buy their records at fucking Walmart.
But they had some, especially on Truth and Soul. There's a couple songs in there that I think could have been big hits.
They were big. They were played on MTV all the time. I remember seeing them on MTV when I was younger.
That's true.
Back in the 80s.
I'm still frequently surprised that some people just don't know who they are. So it was a long time ago, I guess.
Well, you said they're
still around, yeah. But these days, that didn't really mean necessarily.
Now that guy not only carries a cane, he uses it.
Yeah, yeah. And they've had a lot of lineup changes too. Anyway, speaking of Living Colour too, I don't think Muzz isn't with Living Colour anymore. Well, Living Colour isn't even together now, right?
Yeah, they
are they?
Oh yeah.
Okay, good.
Yeah. Yeah, they were on tour a bunch.
I remember some
couple. What's that guy's name? Oh, Doug Wimbish.
Oh, he took over from Muzz?
That's who I'm talking about. Sorry. Yeah, Doug Wimbish's pedal board was.
Oh, okay. Because I think Muzz left.
Muzz did like the first record. I'm sorry.
I think he was in the second one.
Yeah, and then Doug Wimbish.
He left early on, I guess. Yeah.
I saw them back in 1991, I think.
Will Calhoun?
Oh yeah.
He's still with him?
Oh yeah. God. It's the same band.
God, he's so good.
God.
Yeah.
They are up until the pandemic, they were still touring. They're still playing out there doing their thing and tearing heads off. They're great. They're just Corey Glover's voice is still like it was, now 30 years ago when I saw him. No more than that.
He did an interview with Joseph Arthur recently on his podcast. So it's good stuff. Good listen.
Star Platoon.
That's right. Yeah,
Corey Glover's in Platoon. Yeah,
and that was right around the same time. They were
definitely like breaking, and then let's stick him in a movie.
Yeah, he tells a whole story of how Living Colour got started in this interview. It's really fascinating.
He sung a couple of times with that band Galactic out of New Orleans with Stanton Moore's band, and so Corey was a singer for that band for a while too.
Okay,
yeah, doing some guest artist stuff like that.
Cool,
good voice, great voice.
Yeah,
interesting.
Yeah,
very cool.
All right,
yeah. Next week we'll talk about the Beat, Specials, Madness, Selector, Bad Manners, and so on. We'll do a ska.
I know nothing about ska, so I'll set the
English beat.
Yeah, no, they're just called the Beat back in the day.
Beat,
but yeah, we just call them the Beat. Fuck that. Anyway, so but good meeting, good chat, good talk.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Good.
This could have been an email, but fuck it, we're here.
Yeah. Good washing hands and good distance.
Make sure you wear your masks.
Good make your masks time.
Yeah. This is usually what we tell you about upcoming shows, but
yeah. Here we are.
Yeah. So, mask up and take care of your neighbors, take care of yourself, and Thank you for listening. And please, if you like it, tell a friend. If you hate it, tell an enemy.
There you go.
All right.
Lovely to have you. And thanks for the coffee. And thank you, Greg. And thank you, everybody. And talk to you all very, very soon.
Yes. All right. See you guys.